Welcome back everyone to Global War 1936 and Operation Underworld. This time around we're doing turn 5 for Japan. So I'm recording this just after the Christmas holidays, so hopefully everyone had a great Christmas and we'll have a good new year coming up. But let's get into Japan here. A pretty active turn this time around. We are declaring war on the Netherlands. We're going to try and take these islands here in the Dutch East Indies. So because of that, that's going to increase the Commonwealth's income by 2. It's going to increase France's income by 1, and then I believe the United States is going to get 2 D12 dice to roll. So that will likely put them at IPP value of 15, which will allow them to lend-lease. So let's go ahead and, since we've declared war officially, and I'll go over my combat moves here. I've already got them laid out here. I'll kind of run through it with you guys. But before we do that, let's go ahead and increase the income for these countries that get it. So France goes up 1. They are at 11. Anzac goes up 2. They're at 7 now. Far East Command goes up to 9. Britain is at 16. They will go up to 18. And then we need to roll for the United States. So let's go ahead and roll for 2 D12 for the US and see what their total income increase is going to be. All right, so they land at a 14, an 8, and a 6. So let's move them up on the board by 14. That is going to put them at 25. So they are just ahead of Germany now. So they can't move ships and conduct convoy escorting yet, but they can do lend-lease on their turn coming up here later on. So, all right, let's go over Japan's purchases and their technology. So we have 2 tech rolls. We're going to go for amphib doctrine and long-range aircraft. We're at stage 1 for both of those. For purchases, we are going to spend 3 and buy an infantry. That's going to go in Rihi. Spend another 3 for an infantry. That's going to go in Kyushu. Spend 8 for 2 mountain infantry. That will go into Kyushu. Spend 8 for 2 marines. That will go into Kyushu. 2 for militia. That will go into Tokyo. And then we'll spend $6 and get 2 infantry. That will go into Tokyo. And then we have to do our recruitment roll for Siam, which I think we should go ahead and do before we forget. Need a 1 for that, and it fails at a 3. All right, so let's do our technology rolls, amphib doctrine and long-range aircraft. And we hit on long-range aircraft, but we fail on amphib. So let's move up to stage 2 for long-range aircraft. And that joins the plethora of other nations that are at stage 2 for LRA as well. The Germans, the Americans, and the British. All right, so let's go on to combat moves. So quite a bit of combat moves here. So to start out with, we had 2 destroyers that were in the Sea of Japan. And we brought them down and picked up an infantry in Hunan and a marine that was sitting in Kyushu, and brought them down. And we are going to take the Lesser Sunda Islands and the Dutch East Indes, or Dutch New Guinea, for free. So we'll go ahead and mark those. Those are uncontested, and their value is both 1 each for them. We had a transport that was also in the Sea of Japan, and We brought him down into the East China Sea, picked up an infantry in Hunan, and we're going to take the Celebes Islands for free, uncontested. And that's also worth $1. All right, now for the more complicated stuff. So we do have some Dutch ships to deal with. We have a transport and a coastal submarine sitting in P-59. Okay, we're going to take an aircraft off of an aircraft carrier that we have in P-41, bring him down 2 into P-59. He's going to go on map. And I think we only have a range of 1 for going on map. So technically, these guys are going to have to come down on the combat move into P-50. So we'll do that just for technicality's sake. And actually, I take that back. We're going to combat move them all the way into P-59 because the other aircraft is going to go on map here in P-61. Okay, so the fighter goes on map. We will pair him with, I think this is a legal move. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, we control Siam, so we control their fleets, their torpedo boat destroyer and their destroyer. So we're going to use their destroyer to pair with the fighter. I've never done this before in a global war game, but I don't recall reading anything in the rules about this. So we're going to pair the Siamese destroyer with the Japanese fighter and go after that coastal submarine. And then going along with them is going to be the Siamese torpedo boat destroyer and the 2 Japanese torpedo boat destroyers up against the troop transport, which can't fire back. It can't defend. So, all right. And then in P-61 here, try and zoom in on that. We have a tactical bomber that is on map. He has a remaining range of 1. So he'll be able to move back into P-59 and go back on the carrier in the non-combat phase. We did bring down a destroyer from the fleet that was in P-41. And so he will pair with the tactical bomber to try and go after this fleet submarine. And then we also have a heavy cruiser and 2 light cruisers that will try and sink the Dutch destroyer that's there. And then for the amphibious assaults in Sumatra, we are bringing down 2 heavy cruisers. One was up in the Sea of Japan, and the other one was in P-42 with the battle fleet that was up there. So we're going to bring those down with a transport. The transport picked up 2 infantry. The transport was in the Sea of Japan and came down and picked up an infantry in Hunan and another infantry in Kwangtung and brought them down to Sumatra to conduct amphibious assault, being supported by shore bombardment from the 2 heavy cruisers. And then here in Java, which is going to be likely the most intense battle because they have 2 infantry and 2 militia defending, and it's in the mountains, we are bringing down 2 Marines and 2 artillery that were in Nanking, and we had 2 troop transports in P-32 that picked them up and brought them all the way down here with a maximum movement range of 3. And then actually they're in P-59. So all the troop transports will be in P-59 that are assaulting into Java. And the other troop transport, we went and got a Marine, the last Marine that was in Kwangtung, and bringing him down to join the assault as well. And then the remaining tactical bomber that's here will join the assault as well. And he'll have a movement range of 1 left. And then joining the shore bombardment, since we have 5 assaulting units, we will use 2 battleships, a battle cruiser, and 2 heavy cruisers to assist in the shore bombardment on Java. And I think that covers everything. So let me zoom back out here, and then we will go over to the dice tower here and start the battles. Okay. Let's do Sumatra first. Oh, I forgot about Borneo. I have 2 Marines that I picked up, and on another troop transport, and brought them down to Borneo. So, and they will be going up against a militia. Okay, well, let's resolve Sumatra first. So we have 2 heavy cruisers that are shore bombarding at a 2 or less, and we miss with 5s. And then the assaulting infantry. Sumatra is it mountains? Actually, I don't think it is. It doesn't look like it is mountains. All right, so the infantry will be at a 2. All right, so there's the hit that we needed. And then he has a militia that defends at a 2. Oh, and he hits, and actually, first round of combat, double casualties. So we lose both infantry, and he loses his militia. All right. So we are unsuccessful in taking Sumatra. Let's try for Borneo now. This one's going to be just as risky, if not a little more risky, because we don't have any shore bombardment support or air support. So, but we do have 2 Marines that aren't going to take double casualties. So, and I think Borneo is in the mountains, aren't they? I think coming from Sarawak they are, but we aren't coming from that direction. It doesn't look like the Roundel is completely surrounded by mountains. So I think we are good to go there. So the Marines will attack at a 2. And we miss. And then the defending militia defends at a 2. And he misses. All right, so 2 Marines at a 2. And we get a hit. And then he defends at a 2. And he misses. All right, so we do take Borneo. And that's worth $2. And that seaplane that's there automatically gets destroyed. He can't fight back or anything like that. So he is toast. All right, now for the final battle, and that is going to be the assault on Java. Okay, so Java is mountains. The Roundel is surrounded by mountains. Most of the island looks like it's mountains, actually. So we do have to inflict a -1 to our assault value. Now, remember the artillery, they do not get to fire on the first round of combat. So let's roll for our shore bombards. 2 battleships at a 4. Oh, no hits. We have a battle cruiser at a 3. Another miss. And then 2 heavy cruisers at a 2. Oh, misses. I have the worst luck with shore bombardment. Why do I even bother? It's unbelievable. All right, we have 3 Marines at a 1. Hey, we get a hit. Can't hit shore bombards, but our Marines can hit. And then we have a tactical bomber at a 7. Actually, I'm doing this out of order because we need to be resolving the sea battles first. So at least the sea battle that's in P59. Okay, so we have a destroyer that is paired with a fighter that's on map. So the destroyer is at a 4, and the fighter is at a 6. Okay, and we do get a hit. So we do sink the submarine. The submarine does get to fire back, and he is at a 2 or less, and he misses. Okay, so we sink the submarine, and the transport is defenseless, so he automatically gets sunk. And that paves the way for the amphibious assault. All right. Had to backtrack there a little bit. So now we can continue with our assault onto Java. So we got the 1 hit. Now I forgot. Did I roll for the tactical bomber? I don't remember if I did or not. Oh, man. Well, we scored a hit if we didn't. Dang it. Let's roll for the defenders. I can go back and check the footage and see if we did or not. All right, so he's got 2 militia at a 2. That's both misses. And then he's got 2 infantry at a 5, or at a 4. Both misses, okay. This one's still in question, so let's just remove 1 guy for now. So he will lose a militia. Okay. So now we get to roll for the artillery. They're going to be at a 2. And 2 of the Marines will get paired with the artillery and boost them up to 2. So we have 4 at 2, and then we'll have 1 at 1. No hits. And then 1 at 1. No hit. And then the tactical bomber is at a 7. And that is a hit. That's actually a target select. All right, he's got a militia at a 2. That's a miss. And then he's got 2 infantry at a 4. And those are both misses. Wow, getting lucky there with those defensive rolls. All right, so we will target select the infantry since we rolled a 3 or a less. And then we'll go to round 3. Okay. We have 2 Marines and 2 artillery that are at a 2. There's a hit. Just need 1 more hit. And then we have our Marine at a 1. That's a miss. And then we have our tactical bomber at a 7 or less. And that's a hit, but not target select. But it doesn't matter because all of his units are dead now. All right, and he's got a militia at a 2. That's a miss. Wow, man, they're rolling high. Infantry at a 4, and that's another high roll. That's another miss. I cannot believe we took Java without any casualties. Even with all of the uncertainty of whether or not I rolled for the tactical bomber in that first round, it didn't seem to matter. Okay. Let's come back over here to the board and get some things sorted out here. All right, so we take Java. That is worth 2. So the only place we didn't take was Sumatra. We'll have to take it next turn. All right. chip out this guy. Okay, so let's non-combat move these planes back to where they need to go. This fighter will come off map. Rejoin this tactical bomber and go back to the fleet carrier. This other tactical bomber in P-61 will move 1 into, I believe that's P-59, and go on the light carrier. So that takes care of the planes. Dang it, I gotta roll for these guys. All right, let's go back to the, I completely forgot the battle there in. Fortunately, it was inconsequential to the amphibious assault, but we still got to roll for it. Okay, so we did have a tactical bomber on map. I think only fighters compare with destroyers, not tactical bombers. All right, let's roll for the tactical, or let's roll for the destroyer. He's at a 4. That's a miss. We'll roll for the cruisers. They can only hit the Dutch destroyer. They can't hit the submarine. So the 2 light cruisers at a 5. Oh wow, we got both the hits that we needed there. All right, and then let's roll for the tactical bomber that's at a 7, and he misses actually. Okay, so the sub can retaliate, but he's not sunk, so he can retaliate, but then he has to submerge. All right. So the fleet submarine, I believe, is at a 3. And he misses, so he will submerge. And then the destroyer's at a 4. And he actually gets a hit. Okay, so we got to select what unit we want to lose. Okay. So he will lose the destroyer. I think we will lose a destroyer. And then this guy here submerges. All right. I think that's going to do it for that. For other non-combat moves, let's bring a coastal submarine down 1 into P-62. A regular submarine is going to come over down 2 into P-63. We're going to take a fleet submarine in I-12 And he is going to come to the west here, I-10, I-8, and settle in I-4. And then the coastal submarine that's in P-50, or not the coastal submarine, the fleet submarine that's in P-50 will come out 1 and join the coastal submarine that's in I-12. Okay. We have 2 infantry that are up here in Shantung. They are going to come down 1 into Hunan. One infantry that's in Rihe will move over 1 into Suyan. So we'll chip him out. And we'll bring down an infantry into Hopei from Suyan. I'm a little concerned that the KMT on their turn might try to attack Kwangtung since it's unoccupied. They would still have to roll during their on the attack to see if any units retreat, but any surviving units would automatically by default take Kwangtung uncontested. Tempted to rail that mountain infantry that's in Suyan down there just to have some kind of defense. I don't want to lose it. Oh man. I guess what we could do is if they do decide to retake Kwangtung, we can always launch a counterattack. So let's get our planes into position. These planes in Beiping, let's move them down to Nanking. Okay. And I think that's going to do it for non-combat moves. All right, let's place some new units here. Into Kyushu goes 2 Marines, an infantry, and 2 mountain. Oh, I also forgot to mention in the purchase phase that we spent, let me move over here. We spent $6 moving up a construction of a major factory from stage 2, or from stage 3 to stage 2. So we spent the remaining $6 that we had on that. All right, in Tokyo, we have a militia and 2 infantry to place down. And then finally, last but not least, an infantry in Rihi. All right, let's adjust our IPP for the territory that we took over. So Dutch New Guinea, the Celebes Islands, the Lesser Sunda Islands, they're all worth 1, so that's 3. Borneo is worth 2, so that's 5. Java's worth 2, so that's 7. So we will move up 7 IPP on the chart. That will put us at 36. And then we get a bonus of 2 for Java and Borneo. So that's another 4 that we will get to collect here at the end of our turn. So that will put our total at 40 IPP for us to spend next turn. All right, so that will do it for Japan, turn 5. Next up will be the Commonwealth and France. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. And until I see you next time, take care. Bye for now.